New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
As we are greeted by thousands, and I mean thousands of cheering fans, good evening to you. Welcome here in the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled throwback, and yes, it is guaranteed exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus. I am broadcasting this evening from the super secret radio room that is surrounded by thousands. And I mean thousands of watts in the extremely secure but cold concrete bunker somewhere in Akron, Ohio. That's so top secret that only Diego Reyes, my producer, knows where it's at. Individuals like Reverend Robert Brzezinski, the birthday boy this week. Happy birthday, Reverend Robert. He has no clue where the top secret concrete bunker is located, and we are going to keep it that way. Well, we do have a wonderful show for you this evening. Please feel free to comment here, and you may go ahead and do so by either writing in the chat, or you can go to my email address, and that's pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Send me an email this week. Would love to hear from you and your thoughts about the show and what is going on in the world. And as I say week after week, the reason I do the news and the reason that I have the guest on that we have is because I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world and the whole idea of oneness, that we are a part of the solution here, that us being here at this time, we are shining our light and allowing other people to come to their own divinity, their own enlightenment. Well, we were planning on taking the night off here. However, my people called this afternoon and they said, my people got with his people. They did lunch, they signed contracts, and we have them here tonight. All the way from Palm Springs, California, we have the Prince, the Reverend Prince Fleet Easton. Prince is an accomplished actor, singer, entertainer, and humanitarian. And also he spent many of his formative years right here in Akron, Ohio. I told him the temperature here, and he says, I'm glad I'm in Palm Springs. We'll talk about that here in a moment. So our holiday gift to you this evening is the Prince Fleet Easton. And I know he'll have wonderful things to say here in just a few moments. To all of you, from all of us, again, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Yule, happy Kwanzaa. We had a wonderful Yule log burning last Sunday evening with our community here at Summit CSL here in Akron. Again, a wonderful commemoration of the coming back of the light. And I know that in many places around the country, it is extremely bitterly cold this evening. However, again, that the light in our hearts shines very brightly and warmly. And so this evening's fireside chat again is very appropriate. We're going to put another log on the fire here. Go get yourself another cup of hot cocoa, and you may put, if you are over 21, you may put an adult libation in that cocoa. And join us this evening. First, our look at the news here from CNN. The massive winter storm battering the U.S. is hitting major cities at a time when millions of travelers are trying to make it home for the holidays. Nearly 3,000 flights within, into, or out of the U.S. have already been canceled, according to the flight tracking site Flight Aware. Cancellations are highest at New York's LaGuardia Airport and in Detroit, Seattle, Chicago, Denver, and Boston. On Thursday, there were approximately 2,500 cancellations nationwide, with airports in Chicago and also Denver most effective. Chicago O'Hare's International Airport was logging average delays of almost 3 hours due to snow and ice. And many train and bus services have also been impacted, with Amtrak and Greyhound announcing cancellations and schedule changes along the Midwest and also the Northeast. In other news, the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 insurrection recommends barring former President Donald Trump from holding political office again. That is the recommendation among the conclusions in the bipartisan panel's final report that was released late Thursday evening, providing an overview of their findings and how Trump and his allies sought to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. In his Christmas address to the nation, President Joe Biden attempted to strike a unifying message on Thursday when he said that our politics have gotten so angry, so mean, so partisan, and too often we see each other's as enemies and not as neighbors. President Biden called for the poison to be drained from the politics in favor of bipartisan cooperation. And he also encouraged reaching out to connect with loved ones over the holidays, considering the years of isolation brought on by the pandemic. Biden said, "No one can ever know what someone else is going through, what's really going on in their life, what they are struggling with. And that is why the smallest act of kindness can mean so much." Biden said, "So this Christmas, let's spread a little kindness." Yes, I agree with our president. My prayer here for the United States is one of peace, unity, and also oneness. Yes, we may have opposing political views. However, can we start seeing the divine light within each and every one of us? So this is my holiday intention for you this year. It is too much for me, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told members of the Congress at the beginning of a powerful, often emotional address on Wednesday evening, in which he cast his nation's struggle against Russia as an existential global battle for freedom. The former actor and comedian defiantly roused American patriotism while defending Ukrainian sovereignty. He showed gratitude for the American help, even as he has asked for more, seemingly courting comparisons to Winston Churchill, who addressed Congress during the darkest days of World War II. In 1941, he cut through partisan politics with an appeal to share American and Ukrainian values. Zelensky says that the world is too interconnected and interdependent to allow someone to stay aside and at the same time to feel safe when such a battle continues. Our two nations are allies in this battle, he said, tethering Russia to an anti-democratic movement that has found a foothold in the United States and also other Western nations. I assure you that Ukrainian soldiers can perfectly operate American tanks and planes themselves, Zelensky said in a line that could not have thrilled Pentagon officials who fear that Putin could come to equate American assistance with American involvement, potentially leading to a conflict between the two superpowers. Talking about the cold temperatures this evening, migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border are struggling to find shelter while enduring freezing temperatures. In Texas, El Paso is in the midst of a declared state of emergency over thousands of migrants living in unsafe conditions. The city has opened government-run shelters at its convention center, hotels, and several unused schools, but is unable to accept migrants who don't have documentation forms from the Customs and Border Protection, city officials have said. U.S. border officials also are warning migrants about the potential danger of crossing rivers or deserts during the dangerously cold weather. Help avoid human death and tragedy, stay home, or remain in a safe shelter. Those were the words of Hugo Carmona, who is the acting assistant chief of the U.S. Border Patrol operations, he said in a statement. Individuals and families that come to this country have done so for hundreds of years, and they've done so for the same reasons, and that is to seek a better life. Why do you think individuals, again, risk their own lives by traveling across Mexico and then traveling across the desert to try to get in to the United States? Why isn't there a better way to process people before they arrive at our borders? And why isn't Mexico helping us with the immigrants? So we who live in the United States, we have it very good. Can we find a way to allow others into our country without so many dying to get in? And again, I thought that we were under a Judeo-Christian ethic that does welcome strangers. Well, hi there. Good evening. Welcome. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael, and I am just going through the news here. Finally, I thought this story was interesting this week. Amy Grant's plan to host first bride and bride wedding on family farm faces criticism. This is from Yahoo. It says Amy Grant announcing that she is hosting a same-sex wedding for her niece has upset conservative pastor Franklin Graham. The contemporary Christian singer-songwriter, age 62, shared the family news in an interview with the Washington Post last month ahead of her receiving the Kennedy Center honors. The article noted how in recent years, the Breath of Heaven songstress, if you're not familiar with that song, look it up and listen to it, has voiced support for the LGBTQ community, through which she has a big fan base. Also, she and their country music star husband Vince Gill are also planning to host their niece's wedding on their family farm. Grant said it was her family's first bride and bride nuptials. Grant told the outlet that her reaction to her niece coming out was that it was a gift to the family. Honestly, from a faith perspective, I do always say Jesus You just narrowed it down to two things. And that's love God and love each other, she said. And I mean, hey, that's pretty simple. Now, Graham, the outspoken head of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, founded by his late father, has publicly criticized the 6-time Grammy Award winner over the news. He wrote on social media, God defines what is sin in the Bible or not, and his word is clear that homosexuality is a sin. We will get to that in just a moment. Graham is known for being against same-sex marriage, comparing it to polygamy or incest. Those are interesting comparisons. He's also opposed to a bill banning anti-gay conversion therapy in 2017, calling homosexuality an abomination. While the post was on Graham's social media pages, the Baby singer received a lot of support in the comments. Some included, "Thank you, Amy, for your courage and love for all of God's people. I know it comes at a cost," wrote one person. Another called Grant a wonderful example of Christian witness for the decades. "So many of her songs have helped me through the tough times. I am so sorry that all that you can do is judge and condemn. You've got the whole gospel wrong. Very sad." Another wrote this, "Oh, you did not just go after Amy Grant. How dare you criticize someone for showing love? She is an amazing woman who has shown more grace and charity than you will ever have. You don't get to judge her or anyone else. I believe that is made perfectly clear in your Bible." Grant's music was a really big part of my childhood. We saw Amy and knew Amy as a faith-based singer and as a Christian singer specifically. 6-time Grammy Award winner, is it Carlisle Prince? Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's like Carly. I think it's like Carlisle. Anyhow, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Coming out of the closet, Amy was one of my first people to reach out to me, inviting me to be on her television show in my early 20s. And then just recently, on social media, she's been really supportive of me and other queer artists specifically. I know that she's taking some heat for it, and I know that it has not been easy for her, and I admire her so much for that. Reverend Franklin Graham, with all due respect, you need to go back and you need to really study your Bible. Not the literal word, but really go in depth into the language and the culture of the time. In fact, the word homosexual was not put into the Bible until the early part of the 20th century. Did you know that? And Jesus did not mention same-sex relations or abortion at all. And individuals who have done a deep dive into the scriptures, again, taking a look at the language, taking a look at the culture, taking a look at the lens through which the interpreters made the decision from the Greek, have found that the terms for homosexuality dealt with prostitution and not with loving individuals attracted to each other. Can we just do as Jesus commanded, which was to love God and to love each other? Something to think about this holiday season. Wow. I'm at 21 minutes. I think that's that's a brand new record, Prince. 21 minutes for the news. Hi, Diego. Love you guys. Diego is not producing this evening. He is in his kitchen, slaving away, making monkey bread for everyone in his neighborhood. Hey, Wayne. Wayne, it is 2 degrees Fahrenheit here in Akron. How cold is it up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada? Probably just as cold. Well, hi there. Welcome. Good evening. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and tonight's guest, all the way from Palm Springs, California. Again, my people had to get with his people. Again, bread was broken, wine was drank. There was all kinds of conversations. We finally got a signature on the contract. Prince Fleet Easton is with us this evening, all the way from Palm Springs, California, and he is our Christmas gift to you here on the New Thought Media Network. We're so glad to have him with us this evening. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a couple of announcements, and then we're going to take a little break, and then we'll be back with the Prince. Yours truly is currently parking himself at Summit Center for Spiritual Living in Akron, Ohio. For more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There, you will find more information about our wonderful Sunday gatherings online at 10:30 Eastern and 7:30 Pacific time. Please grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, your warm cup of cocoa, and please join us. We do have one of the best services, I do believe, in New Thought. This Sunday, guess what? We're going to give you the Sunday off. We won't have any live broadcast. However, we do have past broadcasts of our service on our Facebook page. And we also have a very special service that we did on Sunday evenings, which we broadcast on our Facebook page only, which was our annual Yule log burning. So what we did during that time is with prayers and also a really cool ritual, which I won't tell you what it was, but it was really cool. You have to watch the tape to see it. But we had a great time in our community. Afterwards, we sat around and talked and ate cookies and drank cocoa and sang Christmas songs. It was really quite wonderful. But for more information, again, go to summitcsl.org. Again, our service is simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page, the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page, and also our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he's doing prayer here on the New Thought Media Network. We have so many things going on here at our network. It would take me past midnight to tell you about all the great things that we're doing to start off 2023. So just go, if you could, to ntmedia.org. And if you could go to our donate page, that would be greatly appreciated. Please give a very generous year-end donation to really help us to get this empowering message to the whole world. This is spirituality, not religion. This talks about, again, a personal mysticism, which means a personal relationship with the divine. And again, that's the message that we have here. If you could help us get that message out there, we would appreciate it. Again, go to ntmedia.org/donate, and we would really appreciate your donation as you partner with us, again, to get this powerful message out to the world. Okay. It is time for break, and then we'll be back with the Prince of Palm Springs and really of the whole universe. That is Fleet Easton. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
Have you heard the big news? CSL Denver is growing. Join us, in person or online, every Sunday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. In-person services are held at 612 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. Or join us online at www.csldenver.org. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. You are welcome here.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And all the way from Palm Springs, California, we have Santa's Christmas elf himself, Prince Fleet Easton, who is a very accomplished actor, singer, entertainer, and also humanitarian. And he has a whole wall full of awards to show it. He has a Christmas song out and all kinds of projects. We welcome to the program here the Reverend Prince Fleet Easton here on the New Thought Media Network. How are you this evening, sir?
Well, good evening, Michael. I'm doing fantastic. You know, we elves out here in Palm Springs, we're getting all those toys ready for Santa Claus to pick up to take to the children. I'm out here working in the workshop here in Palm Springs.
All right. Well, we need to check something here. Hold on here.
Okay.
We are checking NORAD Santa, which is the official website of the of NORAD, who tracks Santa Claus so they don't blow him out of the sky as an unidentified flying object. Hold on here. Let me see. Okay. Santa will be taking off from the North Pole in 7 hours and 29 minutes. So he will be out and about, again, because of the different time zones. He will be out and about starting at 4 a.m. Eastern time. That's 1 o'clock your time, Prince.
Yes. And as I said, he's making a stop here to pick up all the toys that us little elves have been making for him outside of the North Pole. We've been making toys for children, so he's going to be picking those up to put in the sleigh on his way.
Well, that is so wonderful. So tell us about, you had some wonderful pictures on your Facebook page about you going out and giving away toys. Tell us more about what happened there.
Well, I'm very blessed to have many organizations wanting to work with me. And I always every Christmas, I work with one group called Team Mom out of Desert Hot Springs. And this woman, what she does is phenomenal. I mean, every year she collects toys for months ahead of time. And they have a toy giveaway for any child in the Coachella Valley who may not be having a Christmas or may not be able to have a Christmas, that they make sure that they have a toy. So what I do is every year we have a get together and all of the parents are invited to bring their child, and I sing Christmas carols while the firefighters are passing out I call them gifts to the child, not just a toy. It's a gift to the child. And I do that every year. And I mean, it's a wonderful thing, but I just want to expand more about this woman. Her former name was Margaret Webb, but now she is Team Mom. And not only does she do that, but she houses the homeless. She cooks. I mean, for Thanksgiving, I think she said close to 300 people. She fed on her own of homeless and those in need of a Thanksgiving meal that would never have had anything to eat. So I work with a lot of really, really wonderful people.
So you wouldn't think, though, that out in Palm Springs that there was so much homelessness. So tell us about that.
Because of our weather, we have such beautiful weather that they tend to gravitate here because probably 9 months out of the year, we have beautiful, incredible weather. So it's very easy for I don't want to say homeless, it's those without a home.
Okay.
And, they just don't have a home to call their own, but they're able to come here and live outside and be in weather that is good to be able to live outside. So they come here. But this is funny because I spent years feeding those people in need with a group called Well in the Desert, and I used to feed them every day. Mm-hmm. And I asked them, I said, well, when the weather gets really hot, what do you do? And they said, we all go to the beach. I said, they all migrate to the beach, to the west, further west out there. I said, oh my God, I can't even do that. So, when it gets cold here, they go to the beach.
Well, thank you, Prince, for all the good that you do and there where you're at. And
well, that's just one of the things that one of my other things is I'm a four-legged child lover, and I do benefits, and I get involved with a lot of things with rescues. And I was very fortunate to be a part of 4 major fundraisers for the Palm Springs Animal Shelter, which is a no-kill shelter. And we just had the 10th anniversary celebration about a week and a half ago. And it was just really, it was amazing. And I told him, I said, you know what? I think now they need to expand. In 10 years, the need has grown. So the shelter needs to be enlarged. And they agreed with that. They said that was on their project board.
Well, that is just great. Well, tell us about what is going on in your career. I know that you have a current Christmas song out. There was a couple of movies that you were in last year. So kind of update us since the summertime of what's been going on with you.
Well, I've been in the business all of my life, and I'm a great manifester. And you just keep going along and you keep manifesting. And then one day it's like, okay, the universe says, okay, you're ready. And all of a sudden, the floodgates opened up. And I really attribute this to a dear friend, my friend Lori Davis in Canada, who has a self-worth course that's amazing, because we don't really know. Sometimes we have records playing in our head that we are not aware of. And those records, they block us from pursuing things that we really want to do, because we have self-doubt. We have the chattering monkey that's telling us we're not good enough and stuff. So I contribute a lot of what is happening now to my career is she helped me get rid of all those blockages of self-doubt. And not that I didn't always believe in myself, but somewhere subconsciously, I know that I always felt that I may be not good enough.
Yes.
And we're always competing or comparing ourselves with others. And that is just a bad thing to do. So what I've learned now is I stay in my own lane. So, other people that I work with, if they're succeeding over here on the left and someone's not succeeding on the right, I don't compare myself to them anymore. I stay in my lane, and I know whatever is in my future or whatever I'm to experience in the universe, it's going to show up for me. Now, what's showing up for them is what is on their path.
Yes.
And I can't compare my path with their path. So many of us we do that. I mean, it's just part of human nature. You say, well, why is that happening for them and it's not happening for me? Well, it's because that's their experience, and that's what they're to experience. You have your own path, and you are to experience what you are to experience. So now what has happened, when those blockages have left, all of a sudden it's like the floodgates opened up, and the universe said, okay, you're ready. So I'm going to start sending all the stuff that you have been manifesting, you've been working for all your life. I'm sending it your way now, because you are prepared mentally and spiritually for what I'm going to bring to you.
And you've gotten rid of the blocks that
I got rid of the blocks.
That in the past has prevented it. Well, hi there. You're on the New Thought Media Network this evening, the Friday evening Fireside Chat with Reverend Michael, and also with Reverend Prince Fleet Easton, all the way from very warm Palm Springs, California. Well, what is the temperature there, Prince?
I think right now it's probably down in the 60s, which, we're in our wintertime. But I was telling you earlier that we've had a couple of days that went down into the low 50s, and and gray and overcast, and they don't last too long. They only last a day or two. But when we go into the 50s, it feels like 2 degrees below zero, like you're experiencing now. And it's funny. Everybody, you can tell, because your body becomes acclimated to the warm weather. So when it drops below 70, I start getting very cold. And you can always tell the people that are the tourists, because they're the ones that are in shorts and short sleeves, and everybody else is wrapped up and bundled up like I am right now.
Well, we have an update on the weather forecast here.
Okay.
It is again. When we started when I came in the studio here a couple of hours ago, it was -4. It has warmed up 2 degrees now to
Yay.
-2.
You know, I was going to.
0.
Funny is,
Go ahead.
funny is when I was living in Akron, I can remember, you know, like I said, I lived through 4 blizzards, but I can remember when March would come and the weather would start breaking, and it would like go up into maybe the 40s, and it was like, oh my God, it's like summertime. And I would be out in shorts when it was 40 degrees because I couldn't wait for summer to come. But after being at 0 temperature, 40 felt like you were in the tropics.
Yeah, we have to tell people, please do not put on your bikinis and bathing suits, your Speedos in 40-degree temperatures. You may still get frostbite.
I did it. I was trying to push that summer as fast as I could.
Well, it feels like, though, with the wind, getting a lot of wind today, it feels like -26 degrees below 0.
Well, that's the wind chill factor really plays a part. The very last day I lived in Akron, I was moving to Florida, but the night before I had been out in a club and I came out and I had a flat tire, and you're talking about 2:00 in the morning, and I think it was 13 below 0, and I had to change that flat tire. I had a Fu Manchu mustache. My nose was running. It was forming icicles in my mustache. And when I got done, I said, like Scarlett O'Hara, as God is my witness, I'll never do this again. And never did. I was out of there.
Well, can we get you maybe to come back sometime when it's warmer, like during the
Yeah,
summer?
when it's warm. You know what? And actually, I've been having some feelings like I need to come home and just to visit and go to all and reminisce and all the stuff of me growing up there and all the things that I experienced. I was there in 1998 was the last time I visited, and I was in shock. I didn't recognize the place. Downtown, they had built they tore it down. They built these steel and glass buildings. And it was like, oh my God, I was just really shocked. And I used to have a loft on Mill Street right next to Quaker Square, the only loft in downtown Akron.
Yes.
And I manifested that. You know, it was so funny because at that time I was going back and forth to New York. And I had visioned that I was going to have a loft in New York City. Well, one day, our friends of ours, we were downtown and we were walking, and as we passed this building, a sliver, you know, the real narrow building's called a sliver, and it had the black fire escape railing down in the front, and there was a sign in the window that said, apartment for rent. And I looked at it, and I looked up there, and I thought, it's got to be the top. It's got to be the top. And so I called about it, and it was a loft, and it was amazing. And my living room was 22 feet wide by 75 feet long. And it had a stage at the one end where the windows, the ceiling was 17 feet high. So the windows went all the way to the ceiling. There were sound booths on both sides of the stage. How perfect was this for an entertainer? And I had found out that it had been a Chinese grocery store. It had been a brothel. It had been the police station at one time. So I want to tell you, there was a lot of interesting energy in there. But I manifested that, and it showed up in my life. And manifesting is a big part. I'm a really a strong generator.
Well, it's very obvious. Prince used to live here in Akron, Ohio. So how long did you grow up here?
I grew up there, and I lived in Ellet, district Ellet, and then I moved to Uniontown, which is a suburb south, right on the border of Amish country. And then at that time I was going back and forth to New York, but my main base was still in Ohio, and until I moved to Florida. So back and forth, back and forth. I went to New York for a while and I was a ballet dancer and studied American Ballet Theater and took master classes at Juilliard. But like I said, I was back and forth and back and forth. And, your hometown keeps calling you back. Well, when I was 18, I couldn't wait to get out of there. The first thing I graduated, I was on a bus to New York City.
I don't blame you.
Isn't that what everybody does when they graduate? It's like, yeah. I'm out of here.
Now, there's a lot, again, we've had interesting scenarios come up of when we've had openings for ministers here in our area.
Uh-huh.
I remember up in, I'm not going to say the town here. I'll just say it's in Ohio. But so this congregation was at convention.
Uh-huh.
There was kind of a get together between those ministers looking for a congregation and congregations looking for a minister. So they were, kind of milling about. And this one woman comes up to the delegation from this one community. And, they're saying nice things back and forth. And then the minister asked, well, where are you from? And they said, we're from Ohio. And the minister said, Ohio. I would never live in Ohio. They're lucky I wasn't there. I would have went ahead and put my hand on it and said, well, I'm sorry that you don't understand that you just turned out a wonderful community. But I think that, there's so many wonderful things here. And again, I learned that also. I spent some time at a community in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And again, with the same type of weather. And again, New Thought's very active in this area. We have a lot of individuals, again, who are and also individuals looking for something else besides the what's being offered in religion. Now, I read a article the other day saying that the mega churches have an uptick, but everything else, it just seems that, again, that attendance at mosques, synagogues, and also churches have gone down.
Yes.
So I think that we have an opportunity here through this wonderful gift that we have, which is the internet, to reach people again, to say there is an alternative here. And a lot of the people, I believe, who are agnostic, I think that they would, if sat down and said, well, we don't believe in a God in the sky out there. We believe in this wonderful, intelligent energy,
right,
that is for us, and that we can use it to create our good. I really do believe a lot of those individuals would start thinking about the relationship to God. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I was going to say, I know I've been watching a lot of what's going on, and there is a big shift. There's a big shift. People are shifting from religion to spirituality, and it is a big shift. There is kind of like an awakening of that. And, I started out in Unity, and now I'm an interfaith. So New Thought, but interfaith, where we honor all paths to God. As Jesus said, judge not lest you be judged yourself.
Right.
So I do not force my opinion on anyone. I allow everyone to live their own truth and their own path. And all we are to be is a light unto the world. And if people resonate with that and they love what you have, then they're going to inquire and they're going to want to know, well, what is it you're doing? What is this all about? So, spirituality is based on love. I don't want to get too much into heaviness, but religion is based on fear. Religious faiths are based on fear. It's fear and control. And we allow people to control what they want to believe, and we're not telling them they have to believe that. I was going to say something. I used to drive past Unity in Akron out there on the west side.
Yes.
And I really never knew anything about it then, but I always was a seeker. Even as a child, I studied on different modalities and beliefs and different thoughts and religions and stuff, and kind of like took bits and pieces from everything. And I thought I was creating my own thing and never really realized that there was actually a community out there of people that were like-minded. So I had to go on my journey. And actually my journey really, really started in 2000 when I became the soloist at the Unity of Melbourne, Florida. And I was there for many, many years. And then I became a soloist also with other of the Unity churches. And then when I came to Palm Springs, then I became involved in Science of Mind. But what was interesting is that the ones that I were involved with, like I said, were a little more interface. So what they did, they brought in things from others. They brought in from Buddhism and the Tao and all, and kind of brought it all together, kind of like Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer, even though he was Science of Mind, he brought in different ideas and belief systems that were all cohesive and worked all together. You know, as I always say, I said, the only thing that's keeping us all apart is the dogma, because all of the religions and the belief systems have one thread that weaves through all of them, and it's just love. As you said, we'll love one another as I have loved you. And man has taken those and separated us and saying, well, I'm right, and you're wrong, and if you don't believe this way, you're going to hell. And I mean, it's amazing what we've done. And it's basically sacred mythology. I was going to touch on something that you were talking about with Amy Grant.
Please do.
I wanted to, that really sparked something in me, because I was aware of Amy Grant and Vince Gillen and their religious beliefs and where their path and what they've been on and stuff, with me being in the business. And I want to commend her, because that blew me away. When you told me that, it was like, wow, that took a lot of guts to step away and say, okay, this is now my truth. And I'm not going to allow you to tell me how I am to react or believe in this situation. And here's the thing, it's really funny. It always changes when the pigeons come home to roost. You know what I mean by that?
Explain a little bit what you mean. Go ahead.
Okay. People have all these negative opinions until it comes home.
Yes.
Then when it comes home, then they have it. Either they go off reject you, or it shifts you into a different reality to where it's like, oh, I need to rethink this. This is someone I love. This is someone that's part of my family. I need to embrace them and love them for who they are. And I really commend them, because I know that they have been on a path where they had that Franklin Graham attitude on things. And I mean, I'm just blown away. So what it made me do while you were talking, I was pulling up stuff from Leviticus. And it was,
You gotta get biblical on us. Go ahead.
This is what I do. I mean, you spark interest in here. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go in here and see what all Leviticus is saying about everything. And here's what's interesting. The 1822, where they say man does not lay with a man. Well, that was all of the culture of the day, because they were living in a patriarchy society, and your only purpose was to procreate and grow the tribe. If for any other reason you spilled the seed, that was an abomination, because you were to grow the tribe.
Absolutely.
And I was reading another one about, it said that Israelites are to separate themselves from the Egyptians and the Canaanites, because the Canaanites practiced these different things. They married within the family. They practiced homosexuality. So the rabbis said we must separate ourselves and make ourselves separate from them and not follow in their culture.
Right. And so a lot of what we have, again, a lot of what's being taken as the will of God or what God has said, again, comes from when people are not literate as far as with the Bible history. You went ahead and, again, did a Google search and came up with a lot more information that anybody could do at any moment. The challenge has been because of the dogma in the Christian church about the whole idea of people being of a man loving a man, a woman loving a woman. I wanted to say one thing here, Prince, when you were talking about when the pigeons come home to roost, Rob Portman, who is our retiring state senator, U.S. senator, his son came out a few years ago, and his switch on it has been pretty amazing. He's one of the Republican Congress people that went ahead and supported the marriage equality act.
Okay. Wow. I was going to share something else with you. Leviticus 19:28.
Oh,
what it says about tattooing. Tattooing is in the same category as homosexuality. And it is an abomination to make gashes in your flesh and incise any markings on yourself. It is considered a form of idolatry.
We could talk all evening, and we have 2 more minutes.
So well, you know what? Real quick, I'll throw everything in.
Okay.
We digressed from you asked me about my movies and everything. So, okay, I have 2 movies out right now. One is Team of 2, where I play a detective, Detective Johnson. And then another film that was just released is #Blessed. And I am an MC in the film, and I also am in the soundtrack singing a beautiful new Christmas song called Why Can't Christmas Be Here Every Day, written by my dear friends Keith Williams and Joni Weston. And now I'm getting ready to go in production on a new international film starring Tom Sizemore, and it's called The Lost Ship. And it starts in 1942 and comes up to today. I have been working with a German teacher, learning all my dialogue, and I'm singing in German for the first time. I love challenges. The director said to me, if this is too much to tackle, we'll get someone German to sing the song and you can lip sing it. And I said, no. The director contacted me. He says, you look very Aryan, because it's Germany, 1942. And he said, I have written this specifically for you because I want you to have a standout role in this film that's going to make you very memorable. And I said, well, then I have to do the singing and everything I have to do. So I've been like, wenn deine Mutter alt geworden und älter du geworden bist und wer was früher leicht und mahulos nunmehr Zulas geworden ist.
I have no idea what you just said.
I don't either. I just know how to say it in German. What do I say? I don't. So that's what I'm up to.
Prince Fleet Easton, thank you so very much. We're still getting some echo there.
I love it. He says, white as marshmallow fluffy. Thank you, Wayne, for the rainbow circle hugs for coupled people too.
Yeah. We love you. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Prince, very much. Stay on the line. We'll talk to you right after the show, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So again, thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Happy Holy Days. Happy Hanukkah. We're doing a daily program here on the New Thought Media Network. We are celebrating Hanukkah for Everyone, of which Prince has been on. So join us. Again, just anything that we do here on the New Thought Media Network, just go on YouTube. All right. Okay, time for us to go here. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good evening. And again, happy holy days from all of us here at the New Thought Media Network.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.